Released in 2007 exclusively for the Wii, Sonic and the Secret Rings is not your typical fast-paced 2D or 3D Sonic platformer. No, it is an auto-scroller. An auto-scroller that uses motion controls. And considering it was released in February, just 3 months after the Wii made its grand debut, it might as well be a launch title. And I'm just gonna go ahead and assume you can piece together what went wrong. But surprise, it gets worse. And funny enough, Sonic 06 in many ways is to blame. But if you don't care about any of that, feel free to jump straight to the gameplay bashing right here. So, the story goes that Sega was in production of their big 15th anniversary Sonic title that was supposed to be a bit of a reboot for the franchise. More realistic, more gritty, and more powerful than ever. So powerful, in fact, that they were unable to port it to the Wii. But they just couldn't not have a Sonic game for a console that would become a worldwide phenomenon. And you know, printed money. Thus, Sonic and the Secret Rings was born. After splitting Sonic Team in half to work on both Secret Rings and 06 at the same time. You know, while a holiday release date is looming. Thankfully, everything worked out. But seriously, it is genuinely a shame, as there are a lot of great ideas and potential here. Cool concepts, interesting stages, and great music outline what could have been an amazing game. But it all got squandered away, as Sonic and the Secret Rings is a mess, with the main culprit being the controls. But the problem is just so much more than just a shoehorned in motion gimmick. Not helped by the padding, the power-ups, and the objectives that only help to accentuate those problems. As stated before, Secret Rings is an auto-scroller. The game just plunks you down in the stage, and without any input from you, off he goes. And wow, look at him go. He is truly the fastest thing alive. So, the controls work like this. You hold the Wiimote with both hands horizontally. You have to rotate it so it's level to get Sonic to stop, or towards you to get him to reverse. Thrusting forward is the homing attack. All of which only really works when it wants to, and will most certainly cause you to suffer more than your fair share of cheap deaths. Though, I'll grant that when Sonic runs, turning the Wiimote to dash left or right is actually pretty responsive, and can be pretty fun when it works. I also want to point out that I was using the Wii Motion Plus for this, and it was still a problem. But not the worst problem. The worst problem, and believe it or not, is the actual button presses. So aside from motion controls, pressing up on the D-pad will activate speed brake. Down is time brake, 1 is the actual brakes, and the biggest problem is 2, the jump. And my god, how did they mess up something that even the Atari controller could handle? You'd think, oh, just press 1 and you jump, right? Like literally every other Sonic game before it.
No, of course not. You hate fun.
Pressing 1 will only make Sonic hop weakly, which is pretty worthless the majority of the time. Instead, you have to hold down 1 to build up your jump. But you kind of brake at the same time, but not completely. The game keeps forcing you to skid forward unless you actually hold down the brake button as well. This makes jumping, especially jumping high to react to split-second traps and enemies appearing, way harder than it has any right to be. And this might just be a me problem, but I kept forgetting that there was an actual brake button, since the jump charge kind of feels like a brake, and I used it way more often. What makes it even more mind-boggling is that during the final boss fight, 1 makes Sonic jump on command, exactly how you think he would. Why couldn't it work like that the rest of the game? It definitely would have made all the stages and the loads and loads of padding that come with it way more fun. Because these stages do have potential. Sonic and the Secret Rings, as well as Sonic and the Black Knight, are part of what is known as the Sonic Storybook series. A pair of games where Sonic breaks away from the traditional trashing robots, saving forest animals, and battling Eggman scenario that the franchise is known for, and tosses Sonic into a whole new world. Literally, and he doesn't even have to get hit by a truck to do it. In Sonic and the Secret Rings, Sonic is transported into the story of the Arabian Nights. Or at least a bastardization of one. Pretty sure there were no dinosaur stories in there. Where the Genie of the Lamp, not played by Robin Williams, is trying to destroy the book from the inside out in hopes of escape. and in their first encounter, puts a curse on Sonic. He must bring him the 7 world rings, or else the curse will kill him. Traveling to different areas of the book, we can see that despite the problems mentioned earlier, and the limitations of the hardware, Sonic and the Secret Rings is a gorgeous looking game. Ironically more so than Sonic 06. While few and far between, the animated cutscenes are actually pretty badass, and the cutscenes that make up the majority of the game, the ones that are told like a storybook, are actually quite charming in their own right. But I'd say it's the stages that actually steal the show. Every stage looks unique and feels like a huge leap away from the world we're used to seeing the blue blur blaze through. No casino zone, no chemical plant zone, not even a green hill zone in sight. Instead, we are treated to more fantasy takes on the Arabian Nights. Personally, Night Palace and the tutorial stage, Lost Prologue, are my favorites, looking very mystical and mysterious. And I hope you find one you like too, because you're going to be revisiting them a lot. Excluding the tutorial stage, Sonic only really visits 7 worlds. And man, did Sega pad these things like crazy. In order to reach the stage boss, you have to replay the same stages again and again just to complete standard objectives, like destroying a set number of enemies or reaching a fairy. And then there's the really stupid ones, like beating the stage with no rings at the end, or getting to the end without breaking any pots, which is much, much easier said than done, especially with these controls. With another major issue being that once you get hit, Sonic keeps running, even if it means continually running into what's hurting him, as you fiddle with the controls trying to get him to reverse or jump. And that's not even mentioning the mechanics that just don't work well, like the lock-on. And I personally had this fun little moment, where I got trapped being pushed back and forth between a dash pad and the wind. Yeah, this game just feels rushed and unpolished. Like, did nobody playtest this? And of course, we can't forget about the power-ups either, which come in 2 flavors. The first 2, which use up the soul gauge, include Speed Boost, which just lets you blaze through the stage until you get hit, and Time Break, which is basically just bullet time, except you also get slowed down just as much. Yeah, it's as dumb as it sounds. Sonic also gains experience and levels, allowing him to unlock more skills, like starting with extra rings, flaming backflips, better handling, and more effective braking.
Making the controls suck less should not be a power-up.
And someone out there will probably get upset if I don't mention this, but as you progress, you also unlock game modes for the multiplayer, which is basically just a small party game mode with mini games. Yeah, think Mario Party, but with Sonic characters. Not that one.
Don't forget the motion controls.
It's fine for what it is, but unless you are a hardcore fan, I just stick with Mario Party. The only major uncompromised W this game gets has to be from the music. Like most 3D Sonic games, the music absolutely kills it. Who would have guessed that mixing Arabian style with rock and roll would work so well, fitting both the theme and the fast-paced nature of the game? Though, of course, it is the main theme, 7 Rings in Hand, that is the true standout. And Sega clearly knows it too, as they use it as much as possible between stages. Probably to get that sour taste out of our mouths. Because even with rockin' music, combined with some solid visuals and a cool concept, it simply can't save this game, which is a major bummer. I had a lot of nostalgia for this one, but the fact is that the controls and the game mechanics are just too broken and have gotten worse with age, making most of these already heavily padded stages extremely frustrating and really not worth fighting through. If they had just dropped the whole auto running mechanic and let you move freely with a proper jump, I think this could have been a great game. But as it stands, it's easily one of, if not the worst, Sonic title.